Is it working? It's working.
I think so.
We are back. Where were you guys? Where were you? We
I was in
missed
China.
you. This is the random table. And if you guys have, if you're like, I don't even know if I recognize those guys anymore. Dunder doesn't even have his mustache. Night Danger's all bearded. Well, guess what? You look different too. I can barely recognize y'all out there in TV land. So let's all celebrate. Let's all rejoice. We are back. The random table. Man, 2025 was a doozy, but I bet it's got nothing on 2026. We got Harmony Ginger in the house. We got your pal and mine, Scudder for Mike.
I'm
We've
here.
got the always intellectual and somewhat challenging at times Night Danger. I don't even know.
I don't know what that means about me.
I don't
man.
either. I'm just vamping here.
You're hurting
And
me.
we got the guy with no mustache, but the froggy voice that you just can't get enough of, Dunder Moose, down here in the bottom corner, welcoming you back. Thank you guys for joining us. The Random Table 2026 is back, and this is T. There were some questions. This is T. I don't
It's
drink
not beer.
anymore. I got the beaties. This is the T.
Got the beaties. This is coffee, and it was a gift. It's Mike Wazowski from a friend,
Nice.
so had to.
That's good.
It's huge. This coffee mug is so big. I can fit. Listen, I have like a micro coffee pot, but it's really large. And so, but this cup is big enough to hold the entire micro coffee pot.
Yeah, there you go, man. That's the bladder buster right there.
I got it.
DM Blackwall in the chat. Todd Pickens, good to see y'all. Sub Deacon K, let's go. And Miserable says, Mike who? That's why you're miserable. You don't know who Mike is. This is the Scudder for Mike.
Sometimes I don't even know who I am. It's more of a state of mind than anything.
Matt Damon maxing.
That's we're just gonna have an existential crisis now. Who is Scudder for Mike? Whom?
How is Scudder?
How does he know how to disassemble a firearm and clock how many people are in the diner?
Whomst is Dunder Moose.
This is crazy because I've been off YouTube since like September, and I was like, nobody's gonna be here. We're gonna stream to like 2 people, but I hit go live, and I like all my people are still here. This is crazy, guys.
Very cool.
You got to
very
trust
cool.
in the process. You got to believe in your
I
crew.
believe now. I believe.
Harmony is so charismatic that even the rest of us couldn't chase her audience away.
So what are we talking about today, guys? What's the topic at hand?
What do you want to talk about, Mike?
No, Dunder. We asked you, and you have to answer.
Yeah, man, come on.
Don't cop out of this.
All right. Well, I think Mike had the Golden Scooty Awards. We had a good send off to 2025. Some amazing stuff happened. But I think I'm not the only one wondering what's next. What's next for our intrepid heroes, these pioneers of tabletop joy? I want to know what you guys have planned for 2026. I don't know what you got. Well, some of you, I do know what you got cooking, but I want to hear about it. I want to hear what your plans are. I want to hear what your strategies are. How are you going to make 2026 a year where the gaming is just worth it? Can we make the gaming worth it?
Yes.
So let's start with, I don't know. Let's start with Harmony. It's your channel. We'll do it you.
Hey, Harmony.
Hi. Yeah. So in 2025, first of all, we went through like a whole a whole mothership campaign with Mike DMing. I learned to play Blades in the Dark. I learned a bunch of board games. I should mention the Night Danger taught me how to play Blades in the Dark. I learned a bunch of new games, and I focused really hard on my Godstein, which I'm now calling Divine Council. And I buckled down really hard on that and ran a whole 4X game that took like a month in July. And then from there, we played in our campaign world, and we've been working on that, and our campaign world's been developing, and I've like written out a rule set. It's in editing right now. Basically, I've sent it to a bunch of people. I've gotten a lot of good feedback on it, and it's kind of like crazy to write this as the campaign is going, because there are new things that keep coming up, like player characters are now taking over entire towns, and I'm like, oh, I guess I don't have great rules for what the forces in every settlement size are, do
Man.
I?
Oh, if
So
only,
I'm having
if
to,
only,
yeah,
there was a book.
yeah,
Only there
yeah,
was- if only there was a book that detailed
yes,
how many soldiers might be in a settlement.
yes.
Ooh, I might be
I
talking a little bit
referenced.
about that tonight.
Yeah, no, I ended up referencing a bunch of things for it, but so we have like a lot of a lot of things coming up. Did I play any Cosmic Encounter on my break? Yes, yes, I did. I didn't win.
Dungeon Delvers in the chat.
I'm actually really bad at that game. I I have this thing where all my favorite games I'm actually terrible at, and it's a blessing and a curse because I like it's hard to get someone to play a game if you're like the best person at it, right? Because they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna jump in this game and I'm gonna get completely annihilated and I'm never gonna want to play again. But the good news is I suck at every game. So but so yeah, I played some Cosmic Encounter, as well as some other things too. I have a current addiction to the Slay the Spire board game, and I will play it with anybody who wants to play it with me. But yeah, so that was my 2025. My 2026 is probably going to look like getting my Divine Council rule set actually off the ground and out. I know I've been working on it for a long time. It's Thank
Dungeon
you,
Delver.
Bill, for that wonderful comment.
Oh,
Yes,
if you could actually
I
pull
know,
that up,
but
about that comment up.
yeah.
My AD&D Dungeon Master's Guide is not on my shelf behind me because it's on my other desk next to me because I actually use that one at the table. That's, I think, maybe the difference.
I have two copies. One in my living room, where we game, and then one on my desk where I do online
Yeah.
games.
I love you,
So-
Macros, but the DMG actually gets used at my table.
I'm
So-
just trying to figure out what's more hurtful, like all caps or like alternating caps. Which one hurts my feelings more?
I don't know.
Just the
It's
alternating
about
caps.
the same for me. No, that's actually what I ended up using. But it's interesting because we're playing with like a 5e core, but like we keep having things come up like, okay, what defenses are at each settlement, and we also have to scale it based on the warfare capabilities of the civilization because they all have different warfare capabilities. So I ended up referencing the 1E DMG, but I also ended up referencing like some other things, including I pulled some numbers out of my ass, but I mean, and but yes. So we're finding a lot of rules that are coming up that like I just didn't account for in the original rules. I'm like, man, I gotta make this complete. It's gotta be perfect, because if it's not perfect, all the Harmony Ginger haters are gonna be like dunking on me, and I can't have that. But,
Just tell them you're a
anyway.
AAA gaming studio, and
Right?
you
Oh,
got to
yeah.
ship, and
I'm
then
just
you're
a
gonna
small
patch.
indie-
Yeah,
I'm
you
just
ship
gonna
it and then you
pull out
patch.
I'll pull out the
Uh,
I'm just a girl meme. It's fine.
But yeah, thanks,
but,
Ear Trumpet, by the way. Yeah,
yeah, thank you, my ear
always showing
trumpet.
good support,
Got
both of
struck
us.
by lightning. Yeah, thank you. He did.
K Dolo,
but
I
yeah.
believe, just called me camel humps, but
No, I
I'm
think
not
he's
sure.
saying that camel
It's
humps
okay.
because it's like the uppercase, lowercase, uppercase, lowercase. Like it goes up and down.
Guys, don't do camel humps.
But so I don't know what's in store for 2026, to be perfectly honest. But
Really?
I'm yeah. So I'm hoping. So I should first quarter of 2026. I want to actually get my rule set out there. So right now it's kind of in the stage that if you ask for it, I'll send it to you. But it's kind of unedited and there are some errors in it. It's not exactly perfect at this point. But it's not something like I am ready to get out there in the world because there are a couple like it's not, there are some things that just aren't right yet, you know. But if you ask me for it, I can send it to you at this point. It's all written out. Anyway,
Right on.
yeah,
So
Oh my
Harmony, I
gosh.
kicked it to you. You get to pick who's next.
yeah. I choose Night Danger.
Night Dangerous tribute.
Okay. I have a busy 2026 ahead of me, so I think maybe what I'll do is I'll do a brief recap of 2025 and pass it along, so it doesn't turn into the Night Danger schizophrenically rambles for 2 hours show. So 2025,
I love those though.
2025 was a great year. I had the longest running Blades in the Dark engine campaign that I've ever run, which Blades breaks down mechanically after about 12 sessions because of the power scaling and like how experience works. But I think I got 11 or 13, somewhere in that range, sessions out of Copperhead County, which is the Blades engine devoted to a Breaking Bad style crime in the South. And the players loved it. I think we're going to revisit it this coming summer. It might turn into like a recurring thing where we check back in. The FBI is involved. It's hard out there for an old-fashioned moonshining family in a world where methamphetamines are available. So that was a blast. And as this was happening, we were, of course, doing our play-by-post Dawn of Worlds God's creation game where we generated an entire world, riffing off of the outdoor survival map using Living Earth's variant on Dawn of Worlds. We got a lot of things wrong. We misread some rules. We misinterpreted some things. But I think the big thing is we just committed. We just let it keep going. And it lasted for 7.5 months. And at the end of it, we have a setting that I don't rightly know what to do with. We've dovetailed it into both the Jungleberg setting from my 1-to-1 Bro SR style campaign a couple years ago. We just kind of were like, oh, if you continue off the map to the east, eventually you hit Jungleberg. And then we have an old school Essentials game going right now, which is to the south of this world map. And I have been avoiding doing regular D&D in this world map, in the world that we actually made, simply because it, and this will get into what we're up to in 2026, it's a weird place. Strange things happened. I think there's Gonzo, and there's like science fantasy, and then there's whatever the hell we have done to ourselves. So
has it gotten too weird? Like, are
it's
people
gotten,
starting to lose interest?
No, it's not even that. It's that there is most of the map is actually really prime D&D territory.
Okay.
But the area where most of the action happened is a large city where it is simply not, I don't think it's viable for class and level D&D style RPG adventures. I think you could maybe swing it with Traveler.
Mm-hmm.
But we have airships and an electrofungal hive mind virus and an underwater city of living meat. There's just a lot going on.
What do you call the underwater living meat city?
We call it the ever dreaming aqueous meat city, or Edamch for short, and it has a beaver dam style like dock city built on top of it. The dam on top of the Edamch, so we have the Edamsterdam.
Edamsterdam.
A hive of scum and villainy if I ever saw one. But Dungeon Delver, you might be picking up exactly the vibe that we're going, that kind of emerged by accident. But that game, it went so well, I think, that it inspired me to do what I have been avoiding doing, which is just making a game from scratch, making an RPG entirely from scratch, tailored to the setting. And
have you talked about this game before online?
I've maybe made some posts about it.
But this is the video debut.
This is the video debut.
You heard it here first, people.
Where I actually will say what Snake Eyes is.
Snake Eyes.
But wrapping up 2025, I will say I played more board games last year than I have in any other year previously. I learned Seven Wonders, and I was simultaneously delighted at how easy it was and irritated at how fast the games go by. I always just wish I had a little more time. I learned Dominion, which it looked so scary. They opened the box and there was all these cards, and then I learned to play, and I'm like, a lobotomized monkey could play this game, and it's fun. It's so much fun. It was incredible. But the highlight of the year definitely is that my brother's a big board game guy, and so for Christmas this year, I bought him Dune, the Dune board game that was originally made by the people who made Cosmic Encounter. I believe it's the same designer.
Yes.
I got him Dune, and then my parents got him Dune Imperium Uprising, which is like a different Dune game. And I haven't played that one, but we played Dune, the one from the 70s, and it's amazing. I am shocked at how good it is. I was really skeptical because I'm like, this seems very unintuitive and kind of clunky. No, it's like a Braunstein by default. It's like the double crosses and the blinds and the
I haven't played the new version, but I've played like the old Dune game many times.
It's so good.
It is very good.
I was very skeptical about diceless combat, and
good.
It works, and it really checks out that it's what's the word I'm looking for? Well, because like Cosmic Encounter, those guys basically started making games because they hate Risk.
Oh yeah.
And it checks out in that it feels like Risk but good.
I have fairly mixed opinions on the designers of Cosmic Encounter, I will say, which is like really, really bad to say, because it's my favorite game of all time. But I've talked.
Would you elaborate on this?
Yeah, sure.
I heard they just smell bad as people. That's what I heard.
So I've talked to and dealt with a couple of them, except for one who I'm assuming. Look, I can extrapolate from
ham salad in the car
I can't say that
on a hot day.
I can't say that on YouTube. Okay, I'll say this. I can extrapolate from dealing with a couple of the designers at different times, playing in their games, and talking to them about some expansion rules and playtesting some of the expansions. I can extrapolate that Jack Kitteridge, the designer that I have never met or dealt with in any way, I am certain is very good at math. That's all I'll say about that.
All right.
Was the BO rumor true though, or was that just vicious?
So I haven't met them in person. It was emails and tabletop simulator voice chat is all. I've not met them in person.
Smell from between the fat rolls.
I'm certain that the person I haven't met of that group was great at math.
I'm sorry.
Cosmic Encounter.
I am making all this crap up. I am making it awkward for everybody. I do, while I forced that little wedge of awkward silence in there, I do want to thank Tag for the $5. Tag says, play Chainmail. Everything else sucks. Thanks.
Oh, yes.
Cosmic Encounter is my most spiritual game. Elaborate on that.
I can elaborate on why I like Cosmic Encounter, but we only have a couple hours.
Yeah,
I don't want to do that. Mike's gonna be there silent the whole time.
Night Danger, what are you doing, man? You're just like, tell me more about Amway.
To suffice to say, my 2025 was very productive from a gaming perspective, very enjoyable, and I have interesting things cooking in 2026, and I'll save those for later. Mike, what are you doing? Or better yet, how was your 2025?
Yeah, I like your format of let's talk about 2025, what happened, and then we can transition to where we're going in the future later. So 2025 for me was a very busy year. I ran a lot of games. I played Classic Traveler, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, Dragon Slayer RPG, Old School Essentials, Horde Wars, Mothership, Call of Cthulhu. I was running a lot of games. I broadened the scope of my YouTube channel. I solo game with Calarath. Lots of games. So many I can't even remember them all. Like they're just kind of like popping into my head, and I'm like, oh yeah, and there was that one too, and that one. I kind of spread myself a little bit thin. I had so many games going at like simultaneously that my day looked like this. I would wake up at like 5 in the morning. I would start recording YouTube videos for one of these like 6 different systems. And then I would work out, go to work all day, come home, start prepping for my in-person games or my online games with other players, not just solo stuff. And I would be doing that until, basically bedtime at like 9:30 or 10. I would try to get some reading in, but my reading really took a blow this year from all of the games I was running. I was a dungeon master for 2 different charity events. One was for an English-speaking mental health hotline for foreigners in China, and we raised, I think, 10,000 RMB, which is like, a little over. It's like 1,200, 1,300 US dollars for that hotline to operate.
Nice.
And I also did a live show of Dungeons and Dragons where we had an audience, and it was also a fundraiser. Actors, everybody was like volunteering for an animal shelter, and so I think we raised more money for the animal shelter than we did for the mental health hotline, sadly. But there was a lot going on. I played in a lot of people's games. I got to play with Night Danger. He ran for me. That was super fun. But I did feel, especially around when school started back up again, around September through December, I was definitely feeling burnt out.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to give all of the energy that I wanted to give to these games that I love so much. And so I ran a lot of games, and that was 2025 for Scudder for Mike.
Right on, man.
That's about what I've been doing. I ran a lot of games, but I feel like 2025 was a weird year for me for a lot of personal reasons, but also I'm kind of becoming, I guess, a more, never mind. I'm not going to touch on that here. But okay, so I kind of want to get to a message in the chat. Tag says Mike's missing the most important parts: touching grass, drinking water, dancing with women, wrestling men, and reading the Bible.
Mike should not
I do
be
wanna
dancing
say-
with women. He is a married man.
Exactly.
Woman. Dancing with woman.
Shame on you.
Yeah.
But
Foxy
I kind
Rock.
of, so I will kind of share this, that this sounds so weird to share on like a YouTube channel that's totally not related to anything, but through dealing with these guys and a lot of events that happened last year, I've kind of gone a lot in that direction and have been reading the Bible and doing Bible studies, and I am finding myself becoming a much more religious person than before. So I'm actually glad for that, and that was probably a big hallmark of my 2025 was me kind of, I guess before 2025 I was like vaguely kind of Christian, but not really. And I'm super getting there now. So that has nothing to do with gaming, but that's just sort of a personal thing that's been happening in my life. And I don't really share that stuff with the internet that much because I like to kind of keep my personal life and the gaming internet life separate. But that's that's something that's happening with me right now. So I guess I will share that here. I can't keep that quiet, So
It's awesome.
yeah, but that's like a large part due to you guys as well. So, but yeah.
Cool.
Anyway, I don't know. I'm sorry. That was like totally
That's
not what we
wonderful.
were talking about.
That's a wonderful thing. Hey, and speaking of religion, the dungeon minister is here, so
Oh, wrong one.
we can.
There we go.
There is now officially a religiously sanctioned stream.
Well,
Which, if you don't watch
Yeah.
the Dungeon Minister, you should. He has the most charming series of session reports on the entire internet. He's probably my favorite gaming channel. So I highly recommend the Dungeon Minister.
Right on.
But I mean, I guess what I want to say is like my online friends through gaming, so you guys have actually had like a huge impact on my life here this past year. So I think that's something else that is worth sharing that happened with me in 2025. So, and I hope that continues as well. Yeah, it will continue. It's up to me to continue it. So, you know.
Oh, it's so on.
Yeah.
He who
So-
began a good work in you will be faithful to complete it. So it's not only up to you.
Yeah.
You're gonna have some help with that.
I will
Oh.
be sending you a very large pile of Greek books
Very good. Very
and
good.
expecting you to read them. You are Greek.
It's all
Um,
Greek to me.
You will eat the baklava.
Also, the Dungeon Delver brought up a very good point. I had a very good cheesecake this year.
Ooh.
Yeah, despite being diabetic, I had a slice of Dungeon Delver's pumpkin cheesecake, and it was delicious. One of the highlights of my 2025 was I got to meet more online friends in 2025 than I've ever met in my life. Because I went to DaveCon and met a lot of people who I interacted with on Twitter, which was really cool. And I got to meet, like, during Thanksgiving, we had Alyssa Hazel was in town, and so
Nice.
I had her over, her husband, and like the Dungeon Delver, and yeah, that was, and the Lord Otter, and that was really cool. We had a great time.
That sounds like a
So-
crazy fun Thanksgiving.
It was.
That
We
true?
played this. It was funny because I was like, I'm gonna force you all to play Cosmic Encounter, and there's nothing you can do about it. But we didn't play Cosmic Encounter because the Lord Otter brought like this like improv game. I forget what it was called. It was like an improv game over, and we had to like audition for like for like interviews. It was like you had to interview people.
Interesting.
And they had to like use certain elements in their interview. And gosh, I wish I remember the name of that game. But it turns out everyone in that room was a terrible actor compared to Bill. Because Bill was in there just rocking it. Just we were like, what are we gonna do? Because he was going all out. Oh, Fun Employment. Thank you. That was the
I'm
name
gonna
of the
write
game.
that down. That sounds like a blast.
Yeah, it was just a quick improv party game, and it was a good time. And the Dungeon Delver, he's a fantastic actor.
He's an
I
AD&D
wish I was-
enthusiast. He's a
Yeah,
true
I can
story
see
gamer.
that.
He's a
Oh,
real
man.
story gamer.
And see, I'm a story gamer too, and I think I'm a decent actor, but like I ain't nothing compared to Bill. He was so good. He stole the whole show.
Yeah, I'm. When it comes to improv, I'm Michael Scott. I have a gun level of acting ability.
I think I did threaten Alyssa to like make me win because like the cards I had to incorporate were like a gun and and like a bunch of money or something, and I think I threatened her to like to let me win that round or something like that. It was
Always
fun.
a
Anyway,
brass
I'm
team.
sorry. I'll get off of that.
That's awesome.
Dunder, how was
Alright.
your 2025?
2025 was a big year. I also had some life-changing news. I found out that I am a type 2 diabetic and immediately reached out to Harmony. I'm like, okay, what on earth does any of this mean? I got the numbers back, and she was like just laying it out for me. In that one little back and forth that we had, Harmony. So after I got diagnosed, I had to take a test to see if I needed any schooling, right? And so I took the pre-test. I got 100% on it just because of what you and I talked about. And so that was pretty cool. I still did I wanted to learn everything because I'm like, I do not want to be bad at this, you know? So I have made a lot of life changes. Longtime viewers may have noticed I backed off on my channel a little bit. I've been trying to do things a little bit earlier and that kind of stuff. I've been trying to eat better. Although the holidays really kind of wrecked that, but I was at least like pairing protein with my sugars. So that was a big thing. My daughter is a freshman in college. my son is a freshman in high school and my youngest is in middle school, and so there was a lot of family grown up church things that really took a lot of my time and focus off of the gaming plate, and rightfully so. So I am looking to go into 2026 with a little more focus, like paring it back and saying, all right, I want to focus on some of the games that I'm interested in, that my friends have made. Right. I'm still very interested in first edition. I don't feel like I have my hands all the way around that. And every time I play it, I get excited and have fun learning. But I want to play. Well, we got Dropship coming up. DM Blackwall's in the chat. I got to play a session of that, and that was pretty fun. 2025 was the first year I ever tried story games. Night Danger ran Blades in the Dark. I played 2 sessions of that. Shout out to my boy Jack McCarthy, who was in that one with us. I got to play Mothership. Scudder for Mike ran us through that one. Jack McCarthy I played a lot with Jack, like a lot of one shots with Jack McCarthy this year.
He just shows up to anything you invite him to.
He is so fun to play with too. Like he's just like enthusiastic and into it. I played Stars Without Number with Lord Mateus and again Jack McCarthy, and so I've been playing like little one shots of a bunch of games.
You also played Crescendo with Spider and Jack McCarthy,
and we played that on air. So if you guys go back and you can watch us play Crescendo, which my second ever story game, my first live online recorded one, Spider Games Crescendo, and so yeah, I really branched out last year. I know I'm forgetting stuff. I had just some amazing experiences, but I've been a player. I have not been DMing in a hot minute.
I'm ready for this experience where I sit down at the table and the Dundermoose is behind the DM screen.
Do you know how intimidating it is for you to ask me to DM you in a game?
It's probably the only way that I'll ever get to be a player in an AD&D game, because the Living Earth guys all run on weeknights that I'm not available. And my brother, who started DMing this past year, very exciting for our IRL group, but he runs 5th Ed. And so,
so I got my face-to-face guys. I got they all go to my church. One of them's my brother-in-law, and we've been playing 5th edition, and my buddy Dan's been running and just killing it. And he told me, you know what? I'm burnt out. I can't run it for you guys. And would you be willing to step up? And I was like, okay. And they were like, all right, we're only playing 5th edition. None of this BroSR 1-to-1 stuff. We just want to play normal 5th edition D&D. So I'm like, okay. And so what I should have done, well, should I get into that? Should I get into what I'm doing with that campaign? Because I'm finally DM again. And
I think what you should have done is, of course, put your foot down and said, I'm the GM and we'll use the system that I provide for you.
And they'll be like, we can't make it. We're busy. My kids got archery. All that stuff happened.
Or you just write up, you just say, we're playing 5th Ed. I just have a couple house rules here. And you just read about the first edition rule book.
All right. Well, let me get into it. Let me get off of my haggard mustacheless face, and I'm gonna show you guys what I did. For that, I'm gonna pull my mic over, and I don't know if I'm like in the. Oh, thanks, Harmony. All right, so we'll cut over here, and I'm looking over my shoulder to see. All right, we're good. So what I should have done is used the player's handbook and just ran them through like Lost Mine of Phandelver or something, right? But I just couldn't. I just couldn't do that. What is this doing here? So I got Tony Bath's Ancient Wargaming, and I've got William Sylvester's The Solo Wargaming Guide. And I decided I'm going to start it off as a war game. I wanted territory. I wanted high-level patrons to start it off. I did not want to spend a long time either reading somebody else's background and trying to memorize it and then doing a poor job of recreating that. But I also didn't want to spend a lot of time creating. So I'm in Tony Bath and I'm learning about, what do you need to do to start your campaign off? How do you set it up? And he's got some ideas. Solo Wargaming has ideas. First edition, Macrease, everybody's got ideas, but I wanted something quick. And so I don't know if you guys can see, this is an old school version of the original Settlers of Catan. They don't call it anymore that. They call it Catan now. Do you guys know why?
Because settling places is bad.
Colonialism
Yeah,
is evil.
Nobody wants to settle. I mean,
I know why.
I would have preferred it if they called it Colonizers of Catan, but anyway, no, I'm just kidding.
Invaders of Catan.
So when Harmony says, "I know why," like I totally believe you. Like I believe that you like probably know the people that made the game, and like yeah, Klaus Tuber and I were talking, and
No.
so there's no backstory there. Okay, I'll keep going. So I know newer versions of this game have like the water pieces aren't just regular hexes, right? Like it's a big puzzle snap around. But I got an older version, so the water are hexes, and you got the land. And I don't know if you guys do you guys know about Catan, how it works?
Everyone knows how Catan
Okay.
works, bro.
So you've got, desert doesn't give you anything. This isn't how you're supposed to lay it out, but I saw that I could do a vertical alignment with about 6 wide and 5 tall. Or maybe it's 5 wide. 5 wide and 6 tall is what I went with. Because it gives me that like portrait orientation. You scramble these up, you mix them up, and then you come out and you make your board. And so I set this up, and I figured this gives me 2 things right off the bat, right? I get terrain, and not only that, but if the terrain produces resources, let me see if I can do so, tipping them over. Do you guys remember, you know what this is? Anybody in the chat know what this thing is? It's old school. It doesn't exist anymore, I don't think.
Is that a film container?
It is. It's from a canister of film. I don't know if anybody uses those anymore. But yeah, so you put these little pieces down. They go in reverse alphabetical order. And anybody that hasn't played Catan, you're rolling 2d6, and there's like a spread. So you get the type of resources. The deserts don't get any. And then you get a likelihood of if you're going to get to draw the card for that resource that round. All right. So I just set the board up 4 times. I put these guys out here so I know. And then I mapped it to, let's see, what does Tony Bath call for? It doesn't matter. I got mountains. And if it was a pasture, I called it hills. If it was like a grain field, I called it plains. And then I figured, where does clay come from, right? Clay comes from water. So these are my water hexes if I got clay. The other thing, I learned this from Purple Druid or World of Worth on X and YouTube. We've got these Ben's Note hexagonal index cards, right? This is for chemistry students for drawing out their little polar covalent bonds or whatever, but you can use them to record hexes, right? So what I did, let me grab it out for you guys. I recorded my, here, let me see if that's, so each one of these 4 quadrants is another board I laid out. And I recorded what type of territory. And so you see the little 2 dots all the way up to, like for an 8, it's going to have 5, right? The most common thing to roll with 2d6 is a 7. So there aren't any 7s. If you play the game, that's where the thief comes into play. He starts off in one of the desert spots. But I figured, hey, that's easy. That's a rollover, right? A d6. So instead of rolling 2d6, I just recorded the number of dots. So I don't know if I can see that. Like you see, I've got my mountain in the middle there with a 3. That means that if you 3 times out of 6, that thing's going to give you some ore. Now I didn't break it down to all the different types of resources. Tony Bath talks about that for like it plays into supply lines and like cutting off your enemy supply lines in a war game. And where does the supply come from? I didn't want to get that granular with it, but I have a map here, and then I needed a background. The second thing I did was I connected all the water. If I had 2 clays next to each other, I figured that was a bigger water thing, like a lake. And then I just, avoiding the hills and the mountains, I kind of connected them all up into rivers, and that's how I got my rivers. And then you're not going to see these. I don't know if this is going to show up very well, the colors, but I've called it the bickering duchy of the implacable overdruid. And then the story is there was a small group of adventurers, plucky adventurers that came from the same village, but they all had radically different alignments. And they found a powerful druid was captured inside a mega dungeon, and they released him, and he took over the group, and they became the Bickering Six, because as a true neutral druid, it pleased him that they had such opposite alignments. And so when he came into his power, he became a baron. He split the counties up. So the green is the neutral druid. That's like not the over druid, but like the neutral guy in the group. The red is the lawful evil wizard. The blue is the lawful good paladin. And then like chaotic evil and chaotic good are kind of around the edges there. Right. And so I had my players roll up I just said, here's your alignment. Here's the kind of person you can do. Roll up a level 10 guy, and you can give him a ton of magical items. And then like I was hoping to do a Bronstein to start it off. And like the Bronstein was the Overdruid has disappeared, and all of your magic items disappeared as well. And the idea is like now there's going to be a power struggle, and each of these different counties has a hidden mega dungeon in it, because I've been collecting them. It's an expensive and stupid hobby, but I've been doing that. And like they're going to lose peasants every round until they have found and start delving the mega dungeon. So that's kind of like where the interaction between the patrons and the adventuring parties is going to happen. They're gonna want to hire them to find these places and start hauling their loot back out of them, because that's where the magic items disappeared to, is in the mega dungeons. So yeah, I don't know if that's way too much, but Tony Bath talks about, I can't remember where exactly I got it, but it said using these rules you can roll up, where's the cities, where's the villages, the towns, the farms, and the castles. It's a little bit more simplistic than first edition does, but the same kind of thing. And they have how many people can you get, like how many troops can you get from each type of habitation, right? And they talk about regiments and companies and stuff. But the solo wargaming guide was interesting to me in that he said, begin the campaign by having all of the troops dispersed about the country as they would normally be in peacetime. One method is to give each city a specific designation or class. For instance, the capital city might be A class and capable of raising and supporting 2 regiments. B class can raise 1 regiment, blah, blah, blah. But the idea is you get regulars that you can muster, but they're not together. Or you also have militia, that like there's like a standing army for each city. So I liked the idea of that. I liked the idea of my patron guys having to like wonder, is this going to come to blows? Or are we going to start fighting each other? And like you have to send out the call to try and muster the troops. I didn't use their regiments and their company stuff. I can't remember where I got it, but basically around 10% of each settlement is going to be fighting aged males that are capable of military service. And you're only going to get half of them already committed. The other ones you'll have to like pull them in from other work. So I figured 10% are the musterable troops, 5% are the militia that are just like the police and the town watch and that kind of thing. And I rolled them up, and so I came up with they hit a lot. I came up with the cities. Sorry, this is other stuff from other games. But I got my chart here of settlements in the Bickering Duchy, and some of them have like the lawful good has the most, followed by lawful evil, which makes sense, right? They're organized. They got roads and stuff. I used AI to help me name, because I got like 40 settlements to name, and I was like, so give me 10 names from a chaotic evil place, and it kind of does that. So I cheated a little bit with the naming. But so I know for each one of them, I know, okay, Ashreeve is a hamlet in the Obsidian Marches, which is lawful evil. It it has got a water resource and it's only got a 1, so it's hardly ever going to hit. It's got a population of 150 people, so 15 of them are musterable, but you've got 8 militia there. So that's how they can know, how many guards there's going to be, or if the big boys start, mustering troops and start moving them around. I was hoping they could generate some of the background for me. And then after I got it all laid out on my little index cards, I created this. I got some software called Wonder Draft, and I just basically made a better looking version of my map. And so this is like the whole place. It doesn't have the colors for the factions yet, but this is the zoomed in player map where we're starting. And these little hills right here are where the first mega dungeon has been located. And the players have already found it and started delving it, and it's stone hell. So and this little village is Reedthorpe, and that's kind of where their home base is for right now. So that's obviously I wasn't following the assignment, right? Like I should have just played normal 5e, but my stupid bro SR brain just wasn't going to let me do Lost Mine of Phandelver. So
Duncan, you have no idea how much it warms my heart to see you succumb to prep addiction, because it feels so good.
Exactly right.
And I'm a big believer that if you keep good track of your notes, there's no such thing as useless prep. There's just prep you haven't used yet.
Yeah. So we talked about this a little bit on my episode with the Living Earth guys about like the whole no prep versus prep thing. And I am on the wrong camera. Let me get back. Where is my gorgeous face? There I am. No prep was a stage that we needed to get, and all people need this. You need to go through a no prep phase so that you have the ability to follow your player excitement wherever it leads. That is not to say that all prep is bad. Prep is fun. But you can't be married to what you've created. You can't be married to what the Curse of Strahd tells you has to happen and in what order. You've got to have the hashtag book control to go off the rails when they want to. But there is the joy of having something that you didn't just build yourself, that like all of the players had a hand in. And some of them just through, like, that's why I think that's my biggest kick from 2025 that's carrying over, is the use of games themselves to do my prep. Something that's fun to play, creating the thing that I'm going to use in the other thing that I'm going to play. Instead of me just having to sit there in the shower or on the couch with a pillow over my face, creating the stuff from whole cloth from my subconscious, just like little grace notes popping out here and there, and then everybody gets to add into it, and like more of a conductor than a composer, if that makes any sense.
So this is exactly why I think there's a perfect music analogy for running the game, which is that you have modules, which is learning standards, learning classic tunes. There is
cross buns.
There is
smoke on the water.
Yeah, exactly. Like you got it. Can you play Freebird? Can you play Wagon? Can you play Wagon Wheel? But you have your modules. Those are your tunes. You need to learn those. And then you have no prep, which is, can you improvise? Can you riff? Can you jam? And there's prep. There's campaign prep. Can you compose? Can you write pieces? And all three of these are unique and discrete skills that feed into and overlap each other. Becoming a better composer will make you a better improviser, and becoming a better improviser will make it easier for you to learn the standards and modify and manipulate them. These are all conjoined skills. You need all of them.
TT Prophet says Pillow Face is a low-key good monster idea.
And there are some modules I really like, even 5th edition modules. Like you were talking about, you didn't want to just run Lost Mines of Phandelver. Lost Mines of Phandelver is really good, actually.
Okay.
It's one of the best that 5th edition has come up with. I like that one. Now, I wouldn't play it again, but I like it.
Yeah.
My personal favorite, relatively recent one was there was a 5th edition module that was really good. What was it? Princes of the Apocalypse. That's like a full sandbox module. I
feel like that one does not get a whole lot of love.
No, it doesn't.
What
because
is it
it's not
about it that
stressed.
stands out to
Yeah.
you, Harmony?
So
Why is it good?
I like that one because it kind of puts players in a little town, and there's like all sorts of stuff they can do. It bombards them with a bunch of different quest leads. They can kind of go off and explore the world in whenever they want to do it. And there is absolutely nothing stopping them from going too far or hitting something that they're just not ready for.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much player choice in that one. And I think that's what makes it good. And I think it's hard to write a module that leaves a lot up to the DM and players, but still is thorough and fleshes out the world. That's actually really difficult to do. I've been sort of experimenting with that in my free time too, but I'm not ready to talk about that one.
Well, the thing I'm worried
But
about
yeah.
as I'm doing this is that I got 1 foot on the dock and 1 foot on the boat. I have players that long for a 5e experience, and I have Broasar sensibilities, and
Yeah.
I'm
you know what?
probably
You know-
gonna wind up in the drink,
Well,
right?
but no. Listen, here's the thing: is that it completely works. So my brother started running last year. He never DM'd before, and so he wanted to run fifth ed. And I said, okay, you can run fifth ed, but before you do, come with me. And I had him over for an evening, and we got the Dungeon Master's Guide out, and we got the Appendix B and C, and we
Mhm.
generated a hex map, and we threw down some settlements, and we threw down some dungeons. And I said, okay, now you've got this. You have you have these materials. Here's a bunch of resources. Here's Donjon. Here's dungeon generating appendixes.
Yeah.
And then I told him to go watch the Arbiter of Worlds series on YouTube because Macros dispenses
Nice.
so much gold in that series.
Yeah.
And I said, watch that stuff and look at your main areas, put together a random encounter table because fifth ed won't give those to you, and put together a tailored to your region encounter table, and think up a couple factions and write some goals for them, and do Bro SR style prep, and then run it as fifth ed. And it's working great. It's working.
Well, so
really,
you brought
really
that
good.
up. That was one of the other fun things I did was I wanted each region to take on the flavor of its ruler. And so I wanted lawful good creatures to be the random encounters in the lawful good. I wanted like very nature type neutral things to happen in the druids domain. And so I have a separate random encounter table for each place that they can move through. Now, sadly, 5th edition rules is written, the encounters, you have to get an 18 or better. So nobody's run into one of these weird encounters that was supposed to be world building.
Thunder,
They just don't bump into them.
I'm going to reveal a secret to you. Are you rolling behind a screen?
No.
I'm not telling you to I'm not
screen.
Okay, I was going to say I'm not telling you to fudge dice, but I'm also just telling you could just say to your players, "Hey, I want random encounters to come up more. We're going to use 2d6 instead." And it comes up on a 10 or whatever, right? Like how
well, I'm skating a line there, right? Like they want to play 5e. Of course, maybe that's just our brain was like, no, we're doing 5e rules as written.
No, you're overthinking it. Literally, like you just say, I want there to be more random encounters, and then they say, oh, okay, and then you roll more random encounters. A great way to do it. That's a lot of fun. If you don't want them to feel like you're sneaking in AD&D, is instead of using AD&D's means of generating random encounters, what my buddy does at the table for him is he rolls 2d12s behind the table, behind the screen, and has the players each roll has 2d12s rolled by the players. And if they get a match, if one of the players' dice matches one of his dice, it's an encounter. And if they both match, then it's like a big scary encounter.
Okay.
And so the players know, oh, we're checking for random encounters, and that makes them tense, and they have fun with it. And you get to use the D12, which doesn't get used very often.
Unless you play Dropship.
Unless you play Dropship or whatever.
Horde Wars.
But
Horde Wars Advanced.
But this is but I only bring it up just because if they're scared of you bringing in AD&D, just increase the probability without using AD&D's explicit dice mechanics.
Yeah.
Players are highly manipulatable.
So 2 weeks ago was my first session running for this 5th edition one, and they were exploring the opening canyon in Stonehell. And as part of my prep for that, I had gone back and I'd watched Harmony's review of that opening section and how awesome it was for her players, and how like they they encountered the waterfall and they were like, oh, this must be the cooling system for some deep machine. And they go into the woods and like they disappear and they're like, hey, we can sneak up. Oh, other people can sneak up on us. And like that was what I had in my mind. And my guys, they got into that and they just charged past every little scintillating. They wanted to track the bear. They found the bear cave. They did run into Cole the bear, and they gave him, the little rabbit. There's like the first time you do Stonehell, there's supposed to be a rabbit on a post, and like it runs off, and then that just never happens again. So like I tell him, you see this rabbit up on the post, he's kind of watching you. They just immediately shot it, just crossbowed the rabbit, killed it, like, and then. But then when they were exploring Cole's cave, the bear came back while they were exploring it, and so they left the rabbit for the bear, and that was kind of how they made friends with Cole, and so that was cool. But yeah, like the building with the big statue of the guy kneeling, just walked right past it. Oh, there's graffiti all over the wall in multiple languages. Okay, we're gonna walk through, and like didn't read the graffiti. It's so like here's the thing though. I felt like I was failing as a DM, but here's the thing.
This is where save or die traps come in. You make them care about it.
Or I just realized that I in my mind have the amount of things that there are to see and the things that they have seen. And I'm not satisfied if they've seen them all, but they don't know all that stuff. So maybe I was a little hard on myself because like if they're having fun, they don't feel the stuff that they're missing because they're missing it, right? So to just play this morning with him again, session 2. One guy was a return player. The other one swapped out. We had one guy who couldn't make it because his daughter's doing archery, and then the other one he could make it today and drove through negative 12 degrees. By the way, it is freezing up here in Michigan right now. Negative 12 degrees Fahrenheit. And I was like, whatever the weather is outside is what it's doing in the game. So like they didn't want to go back to Stonehell because it was like 6 miles away and negative 12 degrees. So we did Quintessential Dungeon, which is like a little 1-pager. And we had an absolute blast. And so I felt much better about my DM skills this time. I was second guessing. I was like, maybe I'm just not a fun DM. Maybe I feel like I'm a pretty fun player, but maybe that's just because I've been playing with Jack and he just seems like he's having fun no matter what goes on. But I was like, maybe I just don't got it as a DM. But like today, I felt like things were going well. So
That's great.
Let me take a breath and we can address Snake Oil Sean with the $5.
Thank you, Snake Oil Sean. He says most players only have knowledge of the DMG in regards to the treasure tables and magic items, and that's probably true. Like I sometimes I pull out a rule in the DMG. Like when I started with the resting rule, with the variant resting rule, or with the oh gosh, there was another one that my players had no idea. I think it was lingering injuries and system shock. When I pulled that stuff out, yeah, when I pulled that stuff out, they're like, "Did you make this up?" Oh, no, it's in the DMG. They're like, "Wait, what?" So, but yeah,
I
totally
did
true.
pick up some stuff from Alchemic Raker. He had a blog post on it, and 4 GP for 1 XP in 5th edition rules. So I did want to. That was one thing from 1st edition that I absolutely wanted to smuggle in. I wanted them to be able to level up, not by DM fiat and not just by killing everything. So I wanted them to be able to like sneak around, get the gold, and still get some XP from it. And the other thing I've been doing, I haven't really tied it to a mechanic yet, but I have been grading them in my session reports. So I don't know. I'm thinking about, if somebody stacks up a bunch of E grades, they can get plus 10% on their XP or something like that. I don't know if you guys have an idea on how to make a fair bonus for good grades or slight disincentive for poor grading in 5th edition. I'm open to that because I like that mechanic of incentivizing people to play their alignment, to play their class, and to play their role.
Yeah, I like the incentives it provides. That's something I've never done though, is grading my players at all. Yeah, I won't. I have some stuff I want to get into because I'm actually experiencing struggles in my game right now that I kind of think are worth sharing and talking about. But
Well,
I
let's
kind of
do
want
it.
to stay on yours here. Okay.
Oh no, I've
right.
said my piece. I'm thoroughly
All right.
satisfied.
So I've had this like BroSR Godstein game going on for this new one has been going on since July. The last one went on for 2 years before that, and we kind of just did a full reset in July with like much more advanced rules and God creation and all sorts of stuff. And since then, it's been going very well overall, and I think people have been really enjoying the game.
Mm.
However, like I'm kind of hitting a bit of a snag, like a bit of a struggle with the BroSR system, like the one-to-one time here,
Mm.
and that's been mostly that I've been kind of hearing from players recently. I like this way we're doing time. I like that it matches up with the real world. We kind of have to do it this way because we have so many players in the same world. But it seems to not have as much, there's not as much RP as when we did Paul's time.
Mm.
And I think my first reaction to that was, well, there's nothing stopping you. I mean, you can go in, and if you want to use session time for like shopping or role play or talking to people at a bar, there's nothing stopping you. But they're like, well, but then the other groups are going to get ahead of us because they're going to get more XP than us, and we want to be the strongest characters in the world. And so I'm struggling with that right now, like. And I think my game is good. I'm not like down on myself as a DM from that. I'm trying to figure out how to solve this issue of putting a little bit of RP and slice of life stuff in a game with one-to-one time with so many players, right?
Yeah.
Because people don't want to engage with that stuff because they're like, no, the other players, they're going to get ahead of us. And this guy, this cleric, he serves a god that betrayed my god. So I can't let him get get this far, and I have to be able to kill him if I need to. So there's kind of the competition inherent in the game and the PvP
Yeah.
elements. And I wouldn't say that they've killed RP because we've had some good RP, like even this week. But I think so. Before I ran a Godstein, the campaign I ran before that was very much a kind of you're in a large city and you guys like you have a business that you're working with, and we're doing pause time, so like I don't know, occasionally you get downtime, but really realistically we're gonna go through like 2 months of time in a year or something, right? But that they had like a lot of just like silly RP, and sometimes it got kind of slice of lifey. Sometimes they go down in the sewers and kill something, or they might check out the wizard's tower or something. But some sessions they were just like, let's see what weird customers we get at our tavern this week, or let's go. I don't know, let's go patronize local businesses, meet people who are in the neighborhood, and they'd have like, and they get quest leads from that, right? But I
Yeah.
think some people are like sort of missing that sort of RP sandbox feel that I did before. And I'm kind of struggling with how to maximize RP and immersion in a world that's moving so fast where
Mm.
players have like so much FOMO. But yeah, like somebody in chat, TT Profit says they don't want to have fun, they want to win.
Yes,
Yes,
exactly it.
exactly. And
Nailed it.
like
Well,
and they're loving it. They're loving like a lot of the RP is happening above the table between the gods because the gods are like fighting and in constant competition, and so that's good. But I'm trying to figure out how to bring more immersion and RP and almost this sometimes a slice of life type feel to something like this, because it has been since July. It's been a war game. It's been a war game with player characters, and that's been great. It's been fantastic. But I'm still like thinking about how to fix this problem that seems to come from BroSR style play. And I'm not saying I don't like BroSR style play. I think it's done very, very well.
I think
for
you're a
me.
traitor to the cause. I think
But right,
Says Night
yeah.
Danger.
but there seems to be this issue that's coming up, and it could be that my players, some of them aren't war gamers really, and like the slice of life RP, which is fine. Some people are like that. I'm like that some days, but yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to merge these styles a little bit more.
it's interesting. That's actually why we moved away from one-to-one time at my table. Is historically our games have been very much a session of exploration, like a whole session where we're just poking around in the dungeon and having these skirmishes, and then we encounter something. This is when we're on pause time. You encounter something big, and then the next session would be mostly taken up by a very tactical set piece battle with like lots of miniatures. We might bust out some terrain, like we really get into it, and player characters die and things are dramatic. And then the next session usually is we get back to town and we're just like, it's like you're just hobnobbing around, you're pursuing individual goals, you're having conversations in character.
So each pillar just gets one session, right? You don't
almost yeah, we would basically do 1 4-hour session for each pillar. And but what that cycle lends itself to is generally zoomed in. Like a lot of the criticisms of pause time that I hear from the BroSR are criticizing the fact that like, well, you just move the clock forward whenever you want. Like it's like that pause time allows you to like make big time skips and big jumps forward. But what I actually found is that what pause time lets you do is not jump forward a lot. It lets you like zoom way in and slow way down and really hang out with these characters in events that happen maybe over the course of a few days, but you play that out over several months of gameplay. And that was just something that my players were really missing. They wanted to be able to take a breather from the constant grind of get XP and get treasure, or these factions are going to kill us. And so that's why we stopped. Like, is we were running into the very same problem you're describing.
It's interesting to hear that Harmony's like bumping into this issue, because I'm kind of going through the same thing with, I was saying earlier that I was kind of burnt out, just spread too thin. And I found that like all of the attention that I had for my AD&D one-to-one time game was given to other campaigns, other games I was running, and I just couldn't keep up with the pace of it. And unlike Harmony, it was me that was missing the stop time games rather than the players, because being able to pause the game would have been very useful for me whenever I was running like 6 or 7 different campaigns at the same time. And so I think with 2026, I don't know if we're going into 2026 yet. If we're still kind of like just dealing with like right now.
I think we're at a 1 hour point. I think it's probably good time to start like look into the future.
Don't live in the past, man.
So
look forward.
Here's my answer, Harmony, and I don't know if it's going to help you, but because I know that like you have 15 players, I have 8 in my AD&D game, and my goal for 2026 is to be very close off a lot of like the open loose strings that I have running in my life. So I'm focusing in, I'm being intentional, and I'm only going to be running 2 campaigns in 2026. My one-to-one time game is going to continue on. It's been going for over 3 years now, and it's not going to stop. We started with OSE, went to Dragon Slayer, and now we're on AD&D. And I want that game to be my primary focus. And I want my players to feel satisfied with their plans and plots, and they feel like I'm listening to them and like interacting with their downtime orders, not just being like, yeah, I'll get to that later. But my home game, so that's an online game for my channel members, but my home game with my friends, they don't like one-to-one time. They love story game. They like they're all liberals. they like me focused games, and so I am going to be starting my second campaign of of Shadow Dark RPG. It is an amazing system, super fun. Yeah, that's a
I still
long-
haven't run one or played one. I need to.
Shadow Dark's amazing. So actually, Night Danger was saying earlier how like there's like those 3 different tiers of play. There's the module, which you guys know that I love. I've run a module for you guys.
Mhm.
Then there's like the the zero prep system where you can just kind of like you roll up the results as you're going. That's Shadow Dark. If you go through Shadow Dark, the entire system is built with the fastest, smoothest zero prep intention in mind. And
Cool.
I am going to be using, I have all my books over here on the side. I am going to be using the Shucked Oyster. So there's a little bit of like module in there. That's like, it's a loose module. But I'm going to be
Part of the
procedurally generating everything as get it. I'm going to be procedurally generating everything as I go with the Shadow Dark game. It's going to be a pause time game, but I'm going to be using 100% of the rules of Shadow Dark to make the game wherever the players want to go. That's where I'll take it. And then my AD&D 1-to-1 game is going to be very intentional. I have built a world with politics and kings and barons and all these different factions. And so yeah, you have your magnum opus on the top, you have your procedurally generated game. And so those are my 2 campaigns, Shadow Dark and my AD&D game. And then I will continue running Mothership and Call of Cthulhu with modules, interspersed like 1 or 2 shots. I plan on running another game for you guys very soon. I have plans. I have so many plans. There's a Mothership game I want to run for you. I was going to pester you about it offline, but it came up just now. So soon we're going to play again. I'm ready for that.
Last time I played Mothership,
Consider yourselves pestered.
Last time I played Mothership with you lot, I got crabbed.
Mothership
I
is
have-
amazing.
Things turned out pretty darn good for me. That's all I know.
Yeah, you lived at least.
Did he live?
Actually, didn't Harmony blow up the whole planet? I think she melted down a nuclear reactor.
Yeah.
Which is
Just-
exactly
just
what I
so-
wanted.
Harmony's character in that was one of my favorite people I've ever. One of my favorite
thank you.
fictional people I've ever played with. I loved how
Amazing
like
character.
because like you gave me a subplot where I was trying to save my son by stealing company information, and she was so loyal to the company. I was like scared when she was around.
What's
but
great
I,
about Curie OS is that she's an android. Presumably, even though she died, Harmony could just do it again.
Yeah,
Another
Just
Curio.
a different model,
Another-
a different unit.
Bishop.
My Mothership character was Curie.os, and she was very, very loyal to Synthara Enterprises.
Mhm.
And I was like giving like weird corporate answers to everything.
It was so good. It was
Synthara
so good.
Enterprises cares about your commitment.
I love the
Um,
voice
it
too.
was-
And there was like
Uh,
one point where I was trying to carry some heavy things and I just couldn't. And I told her, you know what? My grandma used to help me carry these into the thing while she would tell me a story. Can you please tell me a story and help me carry these in? And she like, whatever she was doing before, she was like the prompt engineering worked on Curio as it was hilarious.
So
was a
what
fun
we're gonna
character.
do is I will be running one shots for I'll continue to do my fundraising opportunity, my volunteer work as a dungeon master. I'll run Call of Cthulhu or Mothership for my friends, but those are going to be once every couple of months. Whereas my primary focus is going to be on running games that provide like a lot of fun for my friends, and I'm going to say no to opportunities that people ask me to like run games for them. I'm going to say no this year in 2026. I'm going to focus my energy on my commitments, and whenever I get off of work, I want to be able to be excited about preparing for the campaign instead of getting home and being like, okay, all right, let's do another game.
Yeah, man. Well, and with this panel, how would you guys say that the whole YouTube thing plays into it? Because I feel like every time I want to play a game, it's 4 hours, right? Like this isn't like a 30 minutes you can pick up a game of Counter-Strike or something. This is, if you sit down to play, there's an expectation you'll be there for 4 hours per session, and who knows how many sessions, and you're letting people down if you back out, right?
Except, weirdly enough, and this is something that has fascinated me, I still haven't played it yet. Crescendo. Talking to Spider, and he says like that Crescendo is intended to be played in 30 to 120 minutes.
Yeah,
that's like the ideal session length.
You told me that the journaling mechanic in Crescendo really kind of lit some fires for you creatively.
I have things to say about it.
Yeah. So I'll kick it to that in a bit, but I did want to ask all three of you guys, because and some of you have shorter episodes, but I know the shorter pre-recorded ones still take hours of editing, right? I don't do the editing thing as often. Pretty rarely do I do. I just usually like push the button like we're doing now, lay down a 2-hour track and push a button, and then I'm good to go. But that's still a 2-hour conversation, right? So, have you found that the YouTube part of it enhances your gaming experience, or have you found that it leads to more of that burnout, or like what's the interaction for you as far as how many spoons you have for the hobby that you love when you add on this other hobby alongside of it?
The YouTube thing affects it very little for me, admittedly, because my video making process is I go for a walk in the woods with my dog. I think about what I'm going to say.
You get out there, you smoke a string cheese, and
I say what I'm going to say out loud as I'm walking to the spot where I know I'm going to sit down, and then I sit down, and I turn I light my pipe, I turn the camera on, I say it, and then I hit pause, and then I hit like stop the recording. I trim off the part of the video where I'm like reaching forward towards my phone to hit start, and then I post it. And usually it has uploaded by the time I have walked back to the house.
Nice.
And so like I haven't been doing much YouTube lately because it's cold. It's so cold. It really just sucks. It sucks to go out in the woods right now.
I can't imagine how cold it is for you right now, because it's like
it was minus in Fahrenheit in Yankee units. It was I think minus 12 at the coldest today.
Yeah, that was us today as well.
But with the wind chill, I don't know what it was in Fahrenheit, but at the coldest part of the day today, I think it was minus 26. Feels like minus 35, which is getting really close, because minus 40 is the crossover point where Fahrenheit and Celsius are the same thing.
Where it sucks in both.
Where it's just everybody knows it sucks. But yeah, I guess I would say that YouTube hasn't really affected that for me. I'd like to do more with it, but I think that might mean biting the bullet and getting a better way of recording inside, because
I feel like you play way more than you talk about it online, or at least more than you talk about it on YouTube.
Yeah, I play the game once a week.
I'm the inverse of that. I talk about it way more than I actually get to play, which is probably why I'm feeling the hypocrisy of myself in always talking about this thing and not having the experiences to back it up. How about you, Mike?
I think it's a double-edged sword. The benefits to participating in the YouTube and X thing it's immeasurable, because I get to make awesome friends. I would never have met any of you without it. My channel members, those guys are great. Absolutely hardcore one-to-one time AD&D enthusiasts, and I don't have that at home. And so I wouldn't have met those guys without my YouTube channel. It is awesome getting to meet like all of these creators, these people who are making games. They message me. Some of them are so generous. They give me their games for free, and they're like, hey, if you want to put it on your YouTube channel, that's cool. If not, just check it out. So awesome. Yeah, my library of games has expanded, and that is so cool. But yeah, editing sucks.
Yeah. So I just don't really do YouTube much anymore. Um, that's my secret. No, so I actually was off YouTube since about maybe September, October.
Hmm.
That was partially due to getting a bunch of kittens. I had a bunch of family stuff coming. And speaking of a bunch of kittens, this is Apollo.
Oh
His
my
adoption fell
goodness.
through. Yeah, I tried to adopt him out, and it kind of didn't happen. So now I have Apollo. Sweet boy. But anyway, I had a bunch of kittens outside, and then I had like a wedding and a funeral, and a bunch of stuff happened. So I kind of have spent the last maybe 4 months or so kind of dealing with some personal stuff, doing some like church stuff, getting back into, you know, focusing on my meat space obligations,
Yeah.
work and family and stuff. So that has, yeah, that's been kind of my recent stuff. So yeah, as far as how X has enhanced my games, I think like some of my players really like when I post about them on X. So like they try to do like, I don't know. They try to do things worthy of being posted on X sometimes, I think.
There's a
Even though no
meta
one will
game.
admit it. Yeah,
There's a
there's a
meta
meta
game where
game.
like the
Like,
DM becomes your audience and you're like trying to do something so outrageous that you make it into the show notes. I got a friend, you'll see her in the chat. Her name is Kara. She, anytime she's on a stream or anytime I'm on a stream, we both, regardless of what the stream is, we're both just trying to make the other person crack up on camera. Like that's like our ongoing meta game. So yeah, there's layers to this stuff.
Ever since my brother started running, I've been actively trying, because we're running fifth ed and that's a pretty forgiving game. I've been actively doing increasingly stupid and reckless things to see if he will just buck up and kill my character. I'm trying to push him to that point, like, come on, do it. And yeah, it's gotten I got a teammate kill, got another one of the players killed, but I live for now. So
I gotta say that happened in my game today. There was a rickety bridge over a bottomless pit, and off to the right there was a cave with glinting little eyes in it, and they were kobolds. And so, you know, the first guy across was a monk, and it was a long enough bridge that he wasn't going to be able to just, you know, dash it the whole thing. And they called out to the kobolds, and they were like, you know, what are you guys doing over there? And they're like, you know, step on holy bridge. And so, you know, they'd had a fight in the room before, and the monk just like, he tries to double dash, but because it's so rickety, he didn't make his deck save to be able to like fleet footed. So he didn't make it all the way across. And then the kobold threw a flaming bomb, like a little glass sphere full of accelerant it was a Molotov cocktail, and it got a nat 20, and it was 1d6 damage and rolled a 6, and like engulfed it. Like it took his last hit, but he had 5 hit points left. Absolutely just killed him right in front of everybody. And I was like, how's this gonna go? And I looked over at the other player who wasn't the monk, and he was laughing so hard he just put his face in his hands, and he just took a minute of just laughing. And I was like, you know what, there is a lot of joy in killing a character, especially if it's funny. If they're like, oh, is this your holy bridge, this one right here? And then whoomp, screaming death. And yeah, so tell your brother, go ahead and kill him. It's hilarious.
you guys won't believe how many player characters died in my campaign during the month of December.
I killed 4 last night.
you know how, well, because it's like, I know that despite its reputation, it's very easy to kill player characters in fifth ed, because when I was running fifth ed, I had an average player mortality rate of at least one character every 2-3 sessions.
There you go.
Yeah.
DM doesn't, fifth ed doesn't have an easy rules, an easy mode problem. It has a weak DMs problem.
Well, I want to hear
I
about
agree with
Harmony's
this.
December. I want to hear what.
Yeah.
How is it? How did
So
that go over?
every month, the players in my campaign, they each control a god. They pick one of their number to get to do a major action in the world. Like it's the Divine Council leader is what we call it, and they vote. And sometimes people have two votes. Sometimes like some shenanigans happen, and people can like buy votes off each other. But like on Christmas or on December, we had the god of capitalism win, which read into that
Mike's
what you
friends would
want.
have hated
But
that.
well, he decided he wanted to give everybody Christmas gifts,
Wait, is this the
but
Spider God?
no,
Okay.
that was the last campaign. This god of capitalism, he's like a dragon. He's like a capitalist dragon. Um,
That's
but
crazy.
yeah, it's really funny. But anyway, he wanted to give everyone Christmas gifts, but I was like, okay, so I'm not giving every player character in the campaign a free magic item on Christmas. I'm not doing it. It's too much. And he's like, okay, well, what if they have a small chance to explode instead? 8 dead player characters, 8. It just kept happening. And like, and the explosion didn't kill them. The fact that the explosion summoned a dragon that would kill them was the part that killed them. So
Oh, that's
yeah.
great.
And like some of them survived it,
That is
but
so funny. I went out of focus.
so um, so I mean, and they had a choice. They could take the little present that might have something minor, like a potion or something, and had a very small chance to explode, or they could take the medium-sized present that had a moderate chance to explode and might have something a little better, or they could take the big present that had the big chance to explode but had big items. And like,
They always
of
went for
course,
the most risk, didn't they?
yeah, yeah, all of them. And I'm like, why did I even bother like giving you choices? Okay, just go high risk, see what happens. And 8 dead player characters is what
Beautiful.
happened. Yep. And there's one
Good.
guy in the campaign. He plays the god of death, and he actually gets resources. He gets a mana whenever anybody in the campaign dies. So he was having a
He
great
was
time.
loving it. He was loving it.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
I feel like that was one thing that came up on my show with Scottifer Mike and with the Druids and stuff is that like there comes a point where too much crazy and too much PC death can, instead of being an enhancer, can like make everyone stop and like say, all we've got is pieces. How do we put something back together from this? Have you guys? I know Mike's experienced this. How about you guys? Harmony, Night Danger.
I have
Um,
nothing of value to add there.
Okay.
Yeah. So I say 8 player character deaths. Like that's a lot. There are probably 40 or so player characters in the campaign. So, it wasn't like campaign endingly bad, but it was
Just a
I
fifth.
was like,
Fifth of your character.
basically. But I would say, as far as player character death goes, it happens. I try to give players multiple points of investment in the world. Like everybody plays a god and has helped mold the world and helped build what we have, right? So everyone's left their mark there. So their investment in the campaign doesn't really end with their player character dying, right?
Yeah.
It is a setback. And also, like, each of the players, like, since they have their gods, the gods are allowed to resurrect player characters. They have a
Oh, well, there you
resource.
go.
Yeah, so they have a resource that they use in the game called mana. And they can each hold up to 10 of it at a time, or up to 7 or 10, depending on if they've unlocked that big cap yet. But it costs 7 mana to resurrect a player character. They get it a variety of ways. They get it from leveling up their player characters. They get it from just there's quests and like there's a bunch of stuff that they can get it for. But it costs 7 mana, so that's like months of like playing the game to get up to 7, right? But they can resurrect their player characters if they choose to spend their resources on that. Basically, they can like use their mana instead to like reroll dice and stuff. So
Yeah.
that's basically like how their god affects the world as the game goes. But they
So
can choose to
by
resurrect.
having that deity layer, it kind of has some safeguards against the Shakespeare ending that can happen. But I'm interested, Mike, how you guys have like handled that. Like it felt like everything that mattered all collided and ended at once. What did you learn from that?
That's a really good question. We've only had a couple of sessions since then. One of them was last night. So we spent a lot of time talking in the Discord about the outcome and how we want. Again, it comes back to intentionality. Like how do we want to play? What kind of game do we want to play? And we are looking at everybody's starting basically from level 1. There's a couple level 2s after the slaughter. We had 7 PCs die in one session, and that was about 85% of the campaign.
Yeah.
And so everybody's picking up the pieces. We are focusing on, we split the group into 2 different distinct parties, and they are alternating sessions into the same mega dungeon. And we just had the second group go last night, and they were kind of dealing with some of the fallout from the first group and what like how they kind of changed up the dungeon. But we're going slow, and I think everybody's on the same page, and we want to dial back the player versus player direct combat, and focus more on developing like the faction, and interacting at a faction level and doing PvP there. No one was happy with the PCs battling it, like rolling for initiative against each other. There were some people who were like, it was kind of interesting, but most everyone was just like, that was not fun. It was really hard to actually to dungeon master. It was really hard to play. And it's too easy to kill a PC, especially whenever you've got 8 people trying to kill. Yeah, like it goes back to the Michael Scott. Everybody's got a gun on somebody else, and it's so easy to kill a PC. And so my goal, I don't know about everybody's plans for the AD&D game, but my goal is I'm going to build a town and some surrounding dungeons, and I'm going to populate those dungeons, and I'm going to have some factions that are, that are kind of like pushing against each other, and whatever those guys.
Basics.
Yeah, I'm going back to the basics. I'm going back to the well, a mega dungeon, and so I don't have the answers. I know that I don't want to do what happened last time. I don't want to do that again. I'll tell you that.
I feel like it was almost like a Brovenloft speed run.
It was brutal. But I love the world. I love the players in the game. They're all so invested. We're having a blast. I just want to avoid, like, I'm going to do player versus player because it has to always be on. This Bronstein always has to be happening. And I don't think that's true.
Total non-stop Bronstein is fake.
There's a novelty. There's a Well, I was thinking about this with the one-on-one or one-to-one time stuff as well.
Yeah.
Have you ever like played a video game that was so compelling that like you needed to step back from it because you got a little too into it?
I get it. I get invested in video games.
Yeah.
Too.
So I feel like with a lot of the BroSR techniques, the one-to-one time, and I was thinking about this when Harmony was talking about how some of her players weren't able to slow down because they wanted to beat the other team. The competitive part of it takes over, and it's that dopamine, it's that side quest, it's that advancement. Not just that your character's getting more powerful, but that you're beating the other team. There is a certain draw there. And I think also with the PvP stuff, because it activates us, because the part of our brain that is watching for competition and threat, because that activates, it feels more vital and important and exciting in the moment. And it's like a bug zapper. It like just draws you to it, and it doesn't care if it kills all of the interest in your game in one session because it's just kind of selfish for its own ends. And so part of getting good at this stuff is putting the throttle on it. It's right, saying like I absolutely have problems with my game that Bronstein solves. So I'm going to use it for that. But
You got to take your foot off the gas.
you got to keep the fire in the fire pit. You can't let it spread to the rest of the woods, right? So, and I think that's probably the next frontier of what the Broasar is dealing with.
Self-control.
Yeah, well, or just control of that engine, control of that, like, because we are solving problems that at least for me, I can't speak for all of gaming, right? I'm not the expert, but solving problems that I have not seen an answer to. But it comes with problems that I feel like nobody's hit, right? And so we got to be honest about what works and what doesn't. And it's still, I mean, if you watch my last episode with Living Earth, that's what I love about the Broasar is that laboratory where we're experimenting with this stuff. We're seeing what works and what doesn't. And if somebody who's done it tells you it didn't work in this case, that goes a lot farther with me than someone who's never done it and just says, well, it can't work because you've got to, if everybody's having fun, that's all you need. And you can house rule the crap out of whatever you want. It's like, no, you got to put the reps in. You got to figure out how this thing is put together before, like E.E. Cummings didn't start off not capitalizing everything. He learned the rules of grammar before he wrote The Wee Little Goat Man. You know what I mean?
I can say that Total Nonstop Bronstein, if it exists, it's definitely not what I did, where
Okay.
the players were because if it was, then the game would be over so quickly. And so that's not it. But we know for sure that's not it. Michael asked a question. What's changed since the Druids got wiped? Have we gotten an update since then? I have been very intentional about not doing after action reports publicly because the parties right now are competing against each other. So before, everybody that wanted to sign up, I'd have like 8 people in the session. They would all create a character in one faction and kind of just go play together. But right now we're doing we're Bronsteining. There are 2 rival parties, and they're both going for the same treasure hoards. And so if I do public after action reports, then the other parties know what, like what's going on. And so I don't want them to have that information. We are chatting in private group chats right now, but there's no after action reports going on.
Jack says, I play in Drakenheim, and Serious DM really fosters that experimental attitude and discussion about what works and what doesn't. Also, another 5e player using Broasar principles, Serious DM. I'm having the Drakenheim guys on next week, probably Thursday on my channel. So watch that space I've been wanting to cover that one for a while now because there's some interesting things going on there.
I can't say I've read that one. But to what Night Danger was saying, if Total Nonstop Bronstein exists, or was that Mike?
That was Mike. I would never
Mike.
suggest
Okay.
that there's a possibility of Total Nonstop Bronstein existing. I would never say that.
Oh, I think I've done it. I think I'm doing it. I will say though, the thing I'm struggling with is the fact that so much of the game happens above the table. Like, it's not like the most interesting parts of the game happen above the table because we have players at war with each other, both with armies on the map and political war. We have political wars going on, which is crazy to watch. But what I'm struggling with right now is, I guess, keeping the player characters relevant, because oh boy, they are relevant. They're taking over towns now, and so it's not a problem of relevancy, I guess. It's a problem of making them the interesting focal point rather than the God game, which is happening above the table, because that's kind of like we'll kind of get into the game, and the game's fun, and there is some RP, there's some fighting, they'll explore something, or they'll travel, or they'll do whatever, and then after the game, people are kind of getting tired and stuff, and then one person will say, so how did that war really go? What happened here? Why did you lose? And then everybody like hops on and they're like, okay, so, and you have like these big political discussions that are still happening because they have been happening in my game for since July. There's been like some crazy politicking, but the problem is, I guess, the same energy isn't there for like for the little things, and that seems to be. And I'm not sure how much of a problem it is. It could be just an issue of this isn't the style of game, right? It's a different gaming style, but I guess I'm going back to it. I'm having players who are. They're like, I don't want to go back to playing like this, but I miss this aspect. I'm like, yeah, I understand it. So,
Yeah, I miss it too. A little bit of like
know.
slow down. Let's do a little role
Yeah.
play. You know, like
Yeah.
whenever I was playing with you guys when we did Mothership, like that was a stop time game, right? Like that
Yeah.
we paused. Like we did role play stuff. We did a little bit of like micro Bronstein, but I think that
And
there's so much to that.
I want to
like,
point out, not all of us could make every session of that, right? Did that? Because to me, that's the one of the biggest benefits of one-to-one time is that you begin in town, you end in town, and you don't have to worry about like Weekend at Bernie's-ing some character who's still there but stops having agency, right? Like goes into a fugue state. How did that go DMing that for you, knowing that sometimes I was going to be there, sometimes I wasn't?
well, we did end each session at like a point where people could separate. And so it was never like, roll for initiative. We'll find out what happens next time.
Or in Night Danger's case, when he just
Right.
separated immediately, ran out
Yeah.
off the outpost.
I got things to do, man.
I spent a lot of time thinking about the way, like how Night Danger went off and how I handled that situation. I have like spent far too much time
He had a
judging myself,
religious experience out in the woods.
like
Listen,
being
man.
a bad
Crap.
DM.
Dude, I have religious experiences in the woods all the time. It's
Yeah.
okay.
We should have known he was going to do that.
I wonder, like, should our next evolution of Mothership be like, should it be streamed on YouTube? Not live, maybe, but like, maybe
I'm-
edited. I don't know. Like,
I'm game. I'm game to try anything. A big part of my future, my looking forward is just trying stuff, like just trying
Yeah.
things and not worrying about like whether or not it sounds like it makes sense. So like,
yeah,
I'm a lot
I
more
want
comfortable
I want
with that
people to
than I used
understand
be.
Mothership. Oh, what was
Mothership
that,
is
Dunder?
it's beautiful.
Oh, I was
Yeah.
saying I'm a lot more comfortable with that than I used to be. Like, after playing with you guys, I was like, man, we could have streamed that and that would have been fine. I've always got just a little bit of worry that live streams are cringe and I don't enjoy watching them. And I'm like, I don't want to inflict cringe on other people.
You must accept cringe. To be cringe is to be free.
But
yeah, I think
like,
it would be. Yeah, I think we
playing
cut
with
out
you
like
guys
some of the
and
dead
Jack,
air.
I'm like,
and
you guys are
stuff,
such
but-
wildly entertaining people that I'm like, I will probably be the only source of the cringe. So then maybe I'm like the Jar Jar, and then the rest of you guys like sell it.
So like, I want to play another Android, but at the same time, I don't want everybody to find out I only have one Android personality in me.
You don't want to reveal that your android is a John Wayne situation where no matter what, it's always the same.
Yeah. I have,
Yeah.
I have one phone operator voice.
Yeah.
I have like.
I think that I think
Your
they would be
reporter.
useful for
Your-
people to
your
see
Dagny
like
Goabi.
I think it would be useful to see how people like how do I handle games and like what are the answers I have for like the creative things that you guys come up with. I think whenever we're talking about some of these stuff like Bronstein on a micro scale, like what does that even look like for people? Them being able to see you guys doing what you do with just like a tiny little prompt from me would, I think, answer a lot of those questions. But
I had an idea back in the day of trying to run a Bronstein in Trilopulus with just all streamers, and everybody would be streaming to their own channel. And so the people that were interested could jump around and follow their favorites. And then if you wanted after the fact, I don't know if anybody has the attention span to do it, but you could go back and watch the DM stream of it. You could watch the player stream, because the thing is I mean, my whole channel is after action reports on Bronsteins, and I don't know if anybody gets anything out of it or if it's just all a confusing mess. Because
people like campaign story time. They love to complain about how no one wants to hear about your campaign.
yeah,
But deep down, they want to know. They want to know.
I think that there's a genuine interest for people that are like, I've heard about this Bronstein stuff for 2 years now. I still don't get it. If I could see somebody do it, then I feel like I could do it. And the thing is the whole experience of being in a Bronstein is profoundly confusing to everybody. The DM most of all. Like, the DM has the least information about what's actually happening. I feel like a lot of my episodes are like the DM finding out what happened in their Bronstein.
I think that sounds like a good idea on paper, but
Yeah.
I think it will fall apart when you have people in chat who are going to different chats saying, "Hey, you better watch out for this
Guess
person."
what they're doing.
Because
Yeah.
I remember when I was in the BroSR Moonstein,
Yes.
the campaign defining moment, or the game defining moment,
Was a slip up.
Jeffro accidentally sending, I think he sent it to either the group chat or to me personally. I can't remember which.
It was the group
Jeffro
chat.
accidentally sending to a group chat that
R-Dubs was going to
that
run you
R-Dubs
over.
was planning to kill me.
Yeah.
And and that was like a campaign, like that was the game
I
defining
thought I had
moment
missed
there.
something when he said that text. I was like, did anybody know that was going to happen? What is he talking about?
So
Yeah.
Jeffro's putting something in the wrong chat actually completely ruined R-Dub's game, because like I think he just was afraid to do it then because
everybody knew he was gonna run you over.
Yeah, because everyone knew he was gonna run me over with a monster truck. But
Right.
like
And that's
and
why
so
I
they're
shot
like-
him in the
he's
ear,
like,
and
well,
that's why
clearly-
Mike was upset with me, and then I had to
clearly
shoot Mike.
Harmony, yep. Clearly Harmony like thought this through and has an answer to this or a way out of it now. No, you know what I do when something is sent to me by mistake? I try to like act as if I do not have that knowledge. And I just tried to
This is the way.
I hope I don't get run over by a monster truck today.
But the thing is like these Bronstein interactions, like these
Yeah.
I gave Dunder crabs, like these memeable moments, they're stories that we're telling to each other and that we love, but other
Yeah.
people are kind of like, what the hell are they talking about? So like if we had some memeable moments that were like publicly viewed, I think it would be a lot more like relatable, because like when we talk about like, you know, oh, Dunder gave me crabs, nobody knows, or sorry, I gave Dunder crabs, like nobody knows what that means, and it sounds disgusting.
Yeah, that's
Right.
true. That's true.
So-
It does sound sexual, and it wasn't. It was the opposite of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well,
So maybe we record the next one.
I think it's a good idea.
There was the alien. There was a crab-shaped alien infection, and
a lot of
it
super
gets in
glue.
your skin. Yeah.
A lot of super glue, a lot of glue,
Um,
sticky glue.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
got
don't
a
know.
pair of
I feel like
fishnet stockings in it. No, I'm just,
live streaming multiple perspectives on a Bronstein, it does run into the chat problem of just bad actors or trolls. If you're going to do something that ambitious, I think that what you have to do is you actually have to have multiple recordings, and then you basically
Right.
can just like
Record
post them
it.
in a playlist after everything's
So-
over.
Actually, counterpoint to what I said before. Oops, wrong one. Michael has a really good point here. He said the chaos of the idea, including chat crossover and double agents, would be quite the spectacle. Might be the ultimate fun in the end, especially for a Gobstein-style fundraiser.
Do it
But,
as
so. I don't know if this was the point he was trying to make, but I mean, you will have people in chat saying, "Hey, R-Dubs is going to run you over with a monster truck," but you'll also have people in chat saying, "Hey, R-Dubs is going to run you over with a monster truck," if R-Dubs like wasn't even planning that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so
You could recruit them to be your spy. It would be like it would be a version of the Goss, right?
Right.
It would be the
The
gossip where you're like, am I getting truth? Am I getting rumor? Are they pulling for one person to win over the other?
You run it in Cyberpunk, and now it's diegetic. It's one-to-one data leaking.
Oh man.
Are
reading
we
back-
are we past your bedtime, Dunder?
No, I was
I
reading
actually-
Jack's comment.
I have a game of Shadow Dark, the first session for my new campaign. It's starting in about an hour, so we do
Okay.
need to wrap up just
Okay.
soonish.
Soonish.
I have diabetes now,
Can
so I need to sleep earlier.
I hate
understand.
to hijack these things, but can I talk about Snake Eyes?
Please.
Yeah.
Okay. I think for the sake of brevity, Mike turns his camera off. Okay, I see how it is.
He's like, I'm out.
I think for the sake of brevity, we need to trim it down.
Alfred Bro stayed up so long he got the beatus.
we need to trim it down. I can cover basically like one of three things, I think, and if people want more, they can ask for it. The game, because basically after I ran the Godstein thing, I had this city and it was beautiful and I love it and I wanted to run games in it, and so I recruited one of my players, Subdeacon K, in the chat, who is my IRL godfather, and I recruited him to help me work on this game. And I think there's kind of three interesting things that are happening there. One, the setting itself, I could tell you about the city where Snake Eyes occurs, the structure of the game, the mechanics of it, or third and finally, the Appendix N procedure that we're using to develop the game. Because I think those are the three kind of exciting things that are feeding into
That's awesome.
process. So what do you want to hear about? The setting, the Appendix N, or the mechanics?
Well, you know
Mechanics.
me. I'm a sucker for the Appendix N stuff, but I'm also interested in mechanics as well.
All right, let's start with mechanics, and then I can always riff on other stuff later. So, the short version then, to render the mechanics intelligible, is you have a dying Earth setting. You have a very, very far future, technologically, simultaneously regressive and progressive,
Nice.
Mos Eisley Cantina, swirling cosmopolitan pile of stuff, just a lot of stuff. It was probably the most interacted with element of the game, was this city. And so I've got here an ad that I placed in the Tiny D10 Primal Magics zine.
Cool.
And I think it's a good way to articulate what we got going on here. Snake Eyes win. We got basically two taglines: hard-boiled portal fantasy. What does this tell you? It tells you that we are dealing with the private eye 40s and 50s pulp detective genre. That is kind of like people will sometimes say fantasy is not a genre, fantasy is a setting, and you can have romance or mystery or whatever. The genre we're dealing with is hard-boiled detective fiction. But also, it is a portal fantasy in that we have anchored the system to being about a person brought from Earth to this strange world, John Carter style, or Narnia style, or if you're a filthy weeb, isekai style. Like we have, which one of my players is a filthy weeb, and so he was very excited to learn that this was the premise. And then we have electrofungal weird fiction. Electrofungal just refers to the mechanics and lore of how this city is permeated with a psychic field full of gods and ghosts and spirits that can be tapped into. And weird fiction I spelled that way because players are playing gods. That is kind of the big twist here, is that I was really inspired by running a game called Everyone is John, where you play the voices in the head of the most schizophrenic man on Earth. And your players are spending resources or spending points to try and take control of John to pursue their own goals. And so it's kind of a PvP, but also you're all united in that you have to share the body of this insane man. And it's a really
so experimental.
it is a really fun, like one-page RPG for like one shots. It's a blast. We played it at Christmas one year and drove a truck through a Christmas market and robbed a Chinese restaurant. Like it was a blast. It's a lot of fun, but it's inherently silly because to take it seriously is to be deeply uncomfortable because, of course, it is about a guy going on a Grand Theft Auto rampage because the voices in his head told him to. But I liked the conceit of players sharing one character because so much men's adventure fiction, whether that's hard-boiled detective stuff or like the Jack Reacher books, is about a singular, highly competent protagonist against whatever the problem is. But of course, this doesn't work. I think this is my problem with Call of Cthulhu, is that the mystery investigator thing, the aesthetics of the genre break down when you have the detective and a mechanic and a plucky up-and-coming pop singer all exploring this mystery together.
It's like the Village People.
Exactly. Like it doesn't. So what I had said is, what if the voices in the head are real? What if which is to say, what if this detective, because it's literally you have transported John Carter style a private eye to this dying Earth city. And being not from around here, temporally or geographically, this detective does not have the psychic immune system that everybody else has that protects them from the intruding presence of the gods, especially all the low-level petty gods, like the god of the itch behind your ear or the god of the number 3 or whatever.
Pure chewing satisfaction.
Yeah, exactly. And so you're not this detective, his brain, it's just not equipped to protect itself from the influence of these gods. And so you play a bunch of pathetic, tiny, minor gods who aren't able to have their own temple or followers, and so they have to share this one prophet, Oracle of Delphi style, like a clown car. We did our first playtest for this last Saturday, and I was shocked at how well it worked. I was very worried that them sharing the detective would feel awkward or unnatural. And what ended up making it work is telling them right out the gate, anytime you want to do something, don't say, I tell him to do this. Don't say, well, I want to pick up this. I want to check out the back room. In character, from a first-person perspective, talk to the detective. Tell him what you want to do. All right, Vince, so here's what we're going to do. You're going to go over there. See that guy playing the harp? Yeah. You're going to ask him if you've seen this missing girl. And they had to stay in character the entire time. And that kind of pulled them out of the potential kind of board gaminess of just spending tokens and passing around actions. The mechanics themselves are pretty simple. Players have 7 stats. Each stat has a adjective attached to it: loud, dumb, wise, odd. And it's a number between 0 and 5. Your stat is the number of points that you have to spend on actions. Anytime you want the detective to do something, you spend one of your points. And the caveat is that what you tell the detective to do is limited by the type of adjective that it is. So and your stats are randomly rolled. So which abilities you have more points in is kind of going to determine the characteristics of what your god wants. Like, what sort of things does he want the detective to do? If he has a lot of points in loud, he's a god of violence, of theatrics, of being over the top and going overboard. If your god has a lot of good points in good, he's a morally upright god who wants you to do the right thing. Which turned out very amusing during the playtest, where one player, who was quite a good god, kept trying to get the detective to just simply, clearly this was a misunderstanding and the authorities will understand, you just need to turn yourself in. And of course that never played out how they wanted it to. Each player has their tokens, they have their actions that they can bid on. And so you kind of go through a free form narration where you're just role playing, investigating, picking up clues, solving mysteries. And anytime somebody wants the detective to do something, they put a bid forward. As soon as a bid is put forward, they do not say what they want. They just put the token forward. And anybody who also wants to intervene, like, oh shoot, the god of forgetting why I walked into a room is about to tell him to do something. Do I also want to tell him to do something? Everyone who wants to buy in puts their bids forward, and it's only after they've all kind of locked in that they make their suggestions in character to the detective. They all kind of kibitz and talk and tell him what they want. And then we roll, each player rolling 2d6 secretly behind a cup or a screen. And the DM rolls 5 dice out, and whichever player has the best poker hand has their action go through. So everyone makes suggestions, but the detective, he's just one guy. He can only do one thing at a time. And
is this why Columbo's always asking one more question? Is because
yeah, because just one more. And the best thing is that
sorry,
almost entirely unintentionally, it led to the detective acting like a TV detective, in that he's way more competent because he has all these different people kind of workshopping his behavior, right? But he's also kind of eccentric and bizarre. And I tied this directly to experience. So all the players, they put their bids forward, and whoever wins that action, their god has had his will enacted in the world. And so the tokens that got put in that pot, those are the XP he gets. And so the more your god successfully has actions performed in his name, the more XP he gets. And the XP will tie to things like different abilities and gaining followers, and maybe even your own temple. And so you kind of have this parallel faction game being developed. And yeah, I think what threw me off is that I was really worried that the dice poker thing would be really clumsy and then it would take a long time. And it flowed so quickly and so smoothly. And I think it's because it's kind of broken up by the players kibitzing in character. And so it doesn't feel like, okay, now we stop, we all roll our dice and we see who wins. It's everyone's kind of talking and scheming, and the dice are being rolled as that goes on. And then the final stage is, once we have a winner, once we know whose action is going to be acted on, we reveal the detective. He has his own 2d6. He has his own hand. And if you beat the detective, then your action succeeds. And if the detective beats you, your action fails because his human nature asserts himself and he does your thing wrong. He interprets you incorrectly, or something else overcomes him. And we played for 3 hours, and it just went by in a flash. It was breakneck. And
sorry.
No, go ahead. I am now taking questions.
No, this is the type of RPG board game hybrid. I'm interested in this. This sounds very unique. And somebody in chat says, I didn't sleep on the fact that the guy named Night Danger made a GTA simulator.
But so this is the thing, is that it's not a GTA simulator in that if you go on a rampage, you don't get the XP. I have set a condition where you build a pool of XP by successfully acquiring winning actions. You only receive that XP if the detective finishes his day with more information about the mystery than he started, which is to say, you can't derail him. He still has a job to do. We're still operating within the conceits of the genre. And that's kind of meta, but I don't care. It works, and it motivates the players to kind of stay on task. And
I think that's I like that attitude.
I was really inspired by Crescendo, just in that I was reading it and I'm like, this is not like anything I've ever read before. And I thought about it and I said, I've never finished a hack or like my own RPG rule set. And every time I try, I'm always like, well, I need a class, I need classes, and I need skills and stats, and then like modifiers, and I need to have like a combat engine. And I read Crescendo and I was like, actually, screw that. I could do something just completely left field. And if it sucks, at least I finished it. Right. Like it
really sounds wildly original. And,
I wanted to approach it from an angle that I've never approached it before.
Yeah.
And I was inspired very strongly by Disco Elysium, which is a computer RPG where all of the skills are voices that make suggestions to you. So your handgun skill might say, "Listen, I don't think you can make that shot. You might want to back off, Chief." Like it's like that sort of inner voice, inner monologue thing. Yeah. Any questions?
Cool.
This sounds like wildly original. This sounds like the type of game you would make. Because and I mean it in the best possible way, because Night Danger is the king of like one shots, short campaigns, and he enjoys like the games that sort of occupy a hybrid board game RPG that you can play in 4 hours and never think about again.
Yeah.
He's like the king of those games, and I
like
enjoy
Prophet's
that.
comment. He says, "Sounds like a dangerous insomniac wrote it. Well done."
And just to TT Prophet, I do want to say the name Night Danger is in fact a Ontario joke. It's just that we have these signs on the highway that say Night Danger with a picture of a moose on it to warn you to not hit moose at night. And that's it. It's just Ontario. It's just Canada lore.
Moose bites can be very nasty.
Well, moose accidents are horrifying. We passed one on our way camping this past summer because it's basically a giant ball of meat that will kill you on stilts, so that when you hit it, the stilts go out and the whole body just hits right in your windshield.
A giant ball of meat that will kill you on stilts. There's your next D&D creature.
Gosh, I think just a moose in D&D would be
dude.
kind of enough.
I mean, and it's
Mooseatar.
it's Appendix N because of course Hyro's journey.
Yeah.
I see a comment from Subdeacon K. Get him to tell you how we've been planning and brainstorming. That's the Appendix N thing. I can tell Dunder about the Appendix N thing if we think we have time, but
Yeah, I
otherwise
think-
maybe we move on.
Yeah, I think we're about ready to wrap up here, because we have passed the 2-hour mark, and Mike's got a game here shortly.
I'm running another game.
Dunder and I have diabetes, which
need our
means we
sleep.
can't be up past 10 o'clock. So,
Well,
I'll
gotta
turn
go to
into a
bed.
pumpkin cheesecake.
yeah.
all right. Well, perhaps
Bye.
another time.
Right on. Well, this was a
We,
great
we can't
episode.
wait. Yeah, we can't wait 3 months before our next.
Yeah, we got to
Random
keep it
tables.
going. This was
Okay.
crazy fun. So much more fun than just doing my own channel.
I know.
I love being with
guys
you
are my
guys
favorite.
again.
Yeah, you're my
I-
favorite people to stream
I think
with.
it started. This show started as just a Bro SR thing, like just 4 people doing Bro SR
The
stuff.
end
and-
of my rap, you guys were all named at the very end of my second rap, and then it just became a channel.
Well, and I think the big thing is that it. I think we've all kind of gone in fairly wildly different directions with it, and it makes it more interesting to discuss.
Oh yeah. And the funny thing is, like, while we haven't been streaming together in a couple months, that's because we've been playing games together.
We've been
and
hanging
Oh,
out.
I thought you were about to
out.
say wow.
No. No, we've all been playing games together through that. We're
We've been
like,
playing WoW.
oh, we just like.
We play WoW together. Yeah, I wasn't gonna. I really wasn't gonna say anything, but then I
Oh,
thought
no,
that's what she was saying. I was like,
don't out me. No, don't out me as a
That's
classic
hilarious.
WoW nerd. Please don't.
That's
The internet
hilarious.
doesn't need to know about that.
So if you were here, you guys, the chat was pretty lively. Also got heavy in times. We are glad you guys are here. We're glad to know you. I feel like I connect with the people that show up for these things. If that's not you tonight live, if you are watching this after the fact, go ahead and leave us comments and tell us, what are you guys doing different in 2026 gaming wise than you were doing from 2025. And look for how you can support these guys. Snake Eyes when, not sure when Snake Eyes, but this year.
Snake Eyes when we want a playtest document that's available to the public by May 1st, 2026.
May 1st. And Harmony,
Wonderful.
do you have a date on your 4X God game? Divine?
Q1 2025 is my
Q1?
current plan.
That's
I
a
mean,
year
you've
ago.
seen it. If any, that was my yeah. That was the
Q1
original
2026,
plan.
I think you mean.
That one, yeah. That.
The other kind.
If anybody wants a sneak peek at that, you can message me and I will send you the player's guide. It's close to done. It's just kind of last minute additions and stuff are happening. But
Prophet is cracking me
I
up
want to
tonight.
go back and say thank you so much to Agile Monk. He said, "Here's to a great 2026 of TTRPG and videos, harmony, ginger, and community.
Harmony
Love and
Gonger.
blessings to all." Yeah, they corrected the typo afterwards. It's fine.
It's fun to
But
say.
that is a
Gonger,
new
though.
nickname for you. I hope you're okay with that.
Gonger.
It's better than Hermione Granger, so I'll take it.
I may have been guilty of that one a time or two.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're gonna wrap up. We will probably. I don't know when we'll stream together again. Hopefully in
Soon.
February.
February.
Shoot for February. All right. Farewell, friends. Thank you so much for hanging out. Good
We'll
night.
see you next time.
Bye, guys.